That way you all don't have to take notes or anything either.
Yay.
I see you now, Will.
I wonder what happened.
I have no idea.
Oh, well.
Give me just 1 second. All right, well, we'll just go ahead and get started with it. And you all saw I'm assuming you all saw the YouTube video, or at least saw the link to it. In Curriculog, all of the forms that require a teach out plan now have a link to that YouTube video. So anybody completing a teach out plan, at the very top of that, it's going to say, watch this YouTube video. So basically what I wanted to meet with all the associate deans about is that I'm going to take a much harder position this year on teach out plans. I just finished the other day, I mean, literally responding to 20 questions from SAC COC on one batch of teach out plans that we have. And it's fixable. You know, I think everybody, these are all honest oversights, you know, people thinking, oh, this is obvious. Well, remember, it's not obvious to a person that doesn't know anything about it. That's the important thing, right? So that's why I put together that YouTube video. I've got the slides. I can share the slides with you all if you want them.
That'd be good.
Be happy to do that. I put that together pretty quick. I know not everybody appreciates a YouTube video, but you know, I wanted to be able to share it with all the directors and so forth. So looking at the YouTube video, because I get to look at the analytics, it's had about 30 views and 5 of those are me. And I'm assuming 4 of those are you all.
Yeah, I watched it, and
yeah.
Also, hopefully, because I require the college curriculum committee members must view it, and then also our representative at the academic councils, because I can only force undergrad to watch it. I forward all this email to all the program coordinators.
Okay,
and anyone that have to do curricular grad and undergrad, like you must watch this one. Yeah, watch it.
Yeah, and of course they've got some time. I mean, I certainly, you know, people's contracts haven't even started yet for like program board. So I get it, but I mean, I'm just really going to depend on you all. When you all see something that comes through that doesn't really address those points, I mean, I really think you need to just send it back and say, fix it. The problem that we've got into in the past is we've said, okay, well, we'll deal with it. Send me an email. And then it's hard to keep it all in, you know, together. So it really needs to be, when that proposal comes through, it needs to be clean. And so if I look at it and I go, well, teach out plan really wasn't addressed adequately, we're just going to send it back. And, you know, really no, at least my position at the moment is no leeway on that. Just because at the end of the day, we don't want SAC COC reaching back out all the time, but with questions. We want it to be a clean process, obviously.
Hey, Doc, I have a question.
Sure.
Will you, because I know that you went through like a checklisting, will you basically in a curriculum or somewhere have a checklist, like a box?
Well,
Like,
the checklist, yeah, so, these things are all in curriculum.
okay,
So they have to fill those out as part of their teach out plan. So let me see if I can pull up real quick. I'll pull up what curriculum form is gonna look like. I think Catherine's launched these now, so. Curriculum. Up. And we can go through that. Go ahead and pull it up here and then I'll share that screen. Oh, there it is. That up. That over here. It came up in a pop-up and hid itself from it. So I'll stop sharing that one. And share this. All right. So can you all see that?
Yep.
Good deal. All right. So what you'll see on the deletion form, right? We changed the name of it, so it's major, certificate, minor, campus, or mode deletion. Right, because all of those things are gonna require teach out plans now. That's not a Doug that's a SACS requirement. Doug's just keeping us in SACS compliance. But you'll see up here at the top now, we've got the please watch the teach out plan video. That'll take them to that YouTube video. So everybody should be informed of what's going on. And you'll see that we've got all of the stuff. They'll still need to provide their memo, whether or not it needs to go to PEC, their school, the title of the program. They will be telling us who their teach out coordinator is going to be, and they'll type in that name. That corresponds with one of those things. They'll put in the effective bulletin year, the estimated date of completion. That's so each one of these really is part of that checklist because these things all have to be completed. So they'll have to talk about how the current admitted students, will be informed. We're asking them to provide sample correspondence. They could just type out what they anticipate the email to be and paste in there, and that would be fine. Just as long as we know that that's what it is. Provide here an explanation of how all affected students will be helped in the program. That'll be included here, right? Provide as to whether or not, additional charges or expenses. They'll talk about that here. And if so, how students will be notified. Okay. So if there is a plan where you all are going, you know what we're going to do? We're going to teach out the Hattiesburg offering, for example. And we're going to move this one required course online because we're going to be offering this online. And it's just that one course. That one course requires additional fees. Students need to be made aware of that. Now, I think we need to still offer the Hattiesburg offering until it's taught out, obviously, right? But if that happened to be part of the plan and it was approved, even that small of a thing needs to be addressed. And then, of course, how faculty and staff were notified of the closure. A lot of this has been left relatively blank, and that's what I got a lot of the feedback on, because people would say not applicable. The faculty will still be teaching their courses. Well, no, they're still going to be redeployed, right? I mean, they're no longer covering that program per se. They may be teaching courses that are applied to other programs, but you just need to be explicit here. Okay, so how will those faculty be used or help to find new employment if pertinent? So if you closed the program and you had a staff member that was only employed in that program, and that position's going away, what are we doing to help them find new employment? That's just what we got to do, right? So maybe we give them an offer of something else on campus. Maybe we move their line from position X to position Y. You can certainly reach out to HR about things that can be done to help them find new employment, that kind of stuff. But those are the things. I mean, all of these things have to be completed for the teach out plan and have to be satisfactory. So if they do all of those things and do them reasonably well, and the problem with this is I can't tell you exactly what needs to be written because it's going to be different for every program. But when you look at it and you go, does this make sense? If the answer to that is no, you need to kick it back. And if you have any questions, of course, you can always reach out to me. Go back to this. So each one of these things that you see here were on that plan, right? And I emphasized the how part. That's another thing that SACS has been asking. They said, well, you said faculty aren't going to be impacted, but how were they notified of this? How were they redeployed? Those are the types of things that I've been getting quite a bit of. And then in the tips, because I know people are going to go, well, how do I estimate the end date of the teach out? The estimation is just an estimate, but it needs to be a reasonable estimate, right? So if they come back to me and say, we're going to teach this program out in 4 years, and I go, well, you just admitted freshman students, and most freshmen take 5 to 6 years to finish. 4 years may not be adequate, right? Certainly 2 years wouldn't be adequate. But if it's a program that, for whatever reason, no students have applied and been admitted to it for the last 3 years, a 2-year teach-out plan may be perfectly adequate. I mean, might be, right? So, I've asked people to identify students, and they can find a lot of this kind of information in Helio Campus. They can reach out to IR if they need special information. And so, but the important thing too is that those admitted students have to be accommodated. So, we just now started recruiting for fall 23. So if we close something today, if we were to close something today, there's students in that portal for fall of 23. They have to be part of your teach out plan. Okay. So that's important. Again, the how part, we do have a shared governance process, and I hope, although I don't need to police all this, but I do hope that you all are pushing on your curriculum committees. When you all are making decisions, you all need to be going back to the faculty in your schools and telling them what's going on. I mean, that's part of what we need to be doing, right? And so that kind of stuff needs to be done. And these committees, although I don't need to see the minutes, these committees really need to be keeping those records, because if SACS were to come back and say, well, we don't believe you, we got word from somebody that says they never had any input on the closure of this program. Because remember, people can file complaints with SACS. I need to be able to go back and say, okay, Galliani, can you give us the minutes of where you all talked about that in your curriculum committee? And I can go, boom, that, the shared governance process was adhered to. That particular faculty member may not have had any input in on it, but that's not shared governance. Shared governance doesn't mean that every faculty member gets a say on everything, right? So, so anyway, that's the way I would do it. Point 3, whoop, making sure that they're, a description of how students are advised of their options, right? I mean, if we had something online and available in Hattiesburg, and we close the Hattiesburg offering, their options are to complete at Hattiesburg or to switch to online. And they just need to be told of what the advantages and disadvantages of that are. And it could well be that you all, during advisement, you meet with the students, and all of the students say, I'd rather complete it online. Well, they made the choice to do that. They've been advised that it would still be offered on Hattiesburg, but if everybody in the pipeline said, we want to move to online, you could actually close that Hattiesburg program a lot quicker than anticipated. That kind of thing. And again, of course, how faculty and staff will be redeployed. I gave some what I thought were some helpful tips here. But certainly, we can't say it's not applicable, that all the faculty will still be remaining. We need to explain how those faculty will continue. And it could just be as simple as a statement of the faculty will continue to teach their courses. Those courses are available in this minor and that minor and this certificate and that program, and we still have a need for it. We're just closing the overall program. So you can make those types of arguments. And you know, for us, it really isn't going to lead, most of these aren't going to lead to the loss of anybody's employment most of the time, right? The only one that might have to worry about losing their employment again would be like a staff instructor or something like that. You know, tenure track faculty, teaching track faculty, we're going to probably have to find a home for them so that they can continue to do what they do, because we need their teaching, whether the program exists or not, a lot of the times, right? So that's that. And then you know, very important, the substantive change policy. I've got a new draft of that ready to go out for councils to review. The current one is up on the provost website. The substantive change policy is changing slightly because SACS provided some clarification in the spring.
You
But
sent us that. Didn't you
I
send
did.
us that?
I did, yeah. So you all are aware of what's anticipated to
Yeah.
happen, but that still has to go through the whole process, right? So, but you know, always let people know, you know, if we're gonna close something, and I have to push back on my boss on this a little bit too from time to time. You know, we can't make a decision today to close something and then have it effective tomorrow. You know, it's best if we have a bit of time. So we need to make sure that we start early. And because, you know, Will, if you all had a program and you know, they came to us in November and they said, we don't want to admit any more students in January, we can't do that.
Yeah, I know. That makes sense.
We're not going to do this mid recruitment stream stuff anymore like we used to. And we did it for a good reason. I mean, we tried to, you know, minimize our teach out obligation. But the reality is that there's really no good way for admissions to handle that midstream. It just doesn't work. And so you always ended up with students in the pipeline that either got left off or told that, well, you just can't complete this program. And very, very important that we remember that they exist and we need to take care of them. I think it's very important to develop a curriculum map of when you're going to be offering courses. And so, you know, again, very important to think about your course rotations as to when you're going to offer. And then, of course, you know, always make sure that people are always welcome, including you all, to contact either me or Catherine if there are any questions. So I would much rather deal with it early and answer any questions that you have than let it get through that entire process and then me have to go, yeah, sorry, go back. So I don't want to create that for anybody. So at the moment that any one of your programs are thinking about closing something out, or it's being discussed at the dean level about closing something, try to bring me and Catherine in as early as possible. That way we can make sure all of our I's are dotted and T's are crossed before you ever begin the curriculum process. Because if things get kicked back, it does get confusing. I admit that. We want to avoid that if at all possible. So
we're going to need your cell phone and your home address so we can call on you on the weekends.
But Bill,
well,
you
interestingly that you say that.
Actually respond to your email on Saturday quick, like he knows that you're sending him an email.
I do put my cell number on my signature line. You all are welcome to text me. On the weekend, don't call, send a text. I will respond. You know, and I'm serious about that. I mean, if I'm doing something on the weekend and I can't respond, it won't be an immediate response, but don't be afraid of sending me something outside of normal hours. I know you all are under a lot of pressure and trying to get things done right, and I appreciate that. And you know, I'm here to help you all as much as I can. I just want to make sure that whatever we do, we're doing right. You know, ultimately, yes, SACS requires this, but there's a good reason why SACS requires this. They want to make sure that we're taking care of our students. And what we don't want is we don't want a situation where a student is in a program and then, or thinking they're going to be in a program, and all of a sudden the rug be pulled out from underneath them. Right? We definitely don't want that, because that can lead to a SACS complaint, which could get us in trouble. It could lead to a NC SARA complaint, which could get us in trouble with NC SARA. And three, and certainly not the least, it's just the right thing to do. You know, it's how I would want to be treated. Nobody wants to walk in and realize that something they've poured their heart and soul into is just going to be gone tomorrow. So I think it's the right thing to do, and the right thing to do for our students, so, and our faculty. So.
So I found that in a faculty first week, you and Catherine offer training about SAC and COC, right?
Yeah, we are offering a program coordinator training. So right now, I looked at it this morning, there were, I think, 102 or 103 people signed up to come. So I've really got to get started on putting my presentation together.
Yeah, I just want to thinking about it, like, because I know I came into this position a little bit, like, I'm maybe a year older than Will, but maybe good for us to go and attend to. I have not signed up. I just want to talk to you first, because so we understand much more.
Yeah, you're certainly welcome to be there. There is, and it's about program coordinators, but we'll certainly talk about teach out plans, because we kind of expect the program coordinators to be involved in that process.
Did you send a link to that?
I think
the just a program
out for that. That's when I look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the Sketch, or whatever they call that scheduling thing on the Faculty First Week website.
Okay.
So if you go to the way that I get there is through the Provost website, and if you scroll down, you'll see Faculty First Week. Or actually, you see the Center for Faculty Development. I think that's it. And you click on that, and that'll take you to the
yeah. I know from time to time, like Catherine has offered some curricular training. Will she do that again? Because I think we have a lot of new program coordinator coming in again.
Okay. We can incorporate some very fundamental curricular mentions in the program coordinator 101. And then, but typically what we have found is that it's actually best to do kind of one-on-one with people with curricular. Just doing a big presentation doesn't seem to do so well. But I will encourage her to think about maybe putting together a YouTube video as a reference as well. I'm a big YouTube video fan, but again, I know not everybody likes it.
That might be something good, and then she might have some series in it, because sometimes when we have questions, and I know she's busy, she tried to answer as fast as possible, but sometimes my faculty, they just do things last minute, and it's like, Catherine never answered. I'm like, when did you ask her? You should do this like in the fall, not February.
So people need to remember that myself, Catherine, I mean, the people in my office, we're not just sitting here twiddling our thumbs waiting to answer a question. I mean, we got a lot of work that we have to do. We're happy to work with people. That's not what I'm saying. But, it's not going to be an immediate. So if you're doing something last minute,
yep,
it's going to be tough to get a response that's meaningful. So again, that's why I think it's very important to start early. This business that we've been in of, let's put in a proposal in March to cancel something in April, or to create something new in April. It goes through, and it just ends up not being very good. If you're adding something to the inventory, you haven't had a chance to really recruit any students by the fall anyway. What would it hurt to just take it easy, build it out, let it go through next fall, and make it available the fall after that, right? And really have a good incoming class of students. I think that would really be a better way to do things. And I kind of have a dream of having a 2-year bulletin one year. But I know several of you all would push back on me on that. But I do think annual bulletin as we do it now, it's difficult for us to manage. Really what we need in the bulletin cycle that we have now, we really need all new degree plan changes to be to us in October.
Wow.
I mean, if you really think about it, right? If you did it in October, then you could have everything to IHL. If it required SACS approval, it could be at SACS. All of those pieces that have to be there for it to be launched the next fall properly. But that's just not realistic, right? I mean, people come back to
It's
work.
hard, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just almost
Yeah.
impossible. So that's why I'm a big proponent of maybe trying to go to a 2-year bulletin, but I understand why some people
Yeah,
would
this year would be better. I have running list on my board. So when it comes, I tell them you must do this. Because we found out this, right? Yeah. I check on the bulletin with Dawn and Catherine, and I found this. So we need to submit this proposal. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, it really does come down, I know people get frustrated, but it really is the shared governance process. You know, you've
Yes.
got to have your faculty at the school look at it. You've got to have them vote on it. You've got to then take it to the college to where the college can look at it. Then it's got to come to us to make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Then it's got to go to the council.
Yeah.
Then it's got to go to the provost. And then once it goes to, I mean, the provost may be a month after council, right? When he finally approves it. And then, you know, if it's a new program, well, heck, it's got to go to IHL.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And that takes time. And if it's a closure, well, guess what? It's got to go to SAC COC, which could require some time. So,
Okay.
you know, it's just a lot of moving parts, and trying to get them all at the same speed has been difficult. So do you all think that the video covered things fairly well?
I think so, but I watch it and then I'm just afraid because right now we don't have anything go through teach out plan, and my thing is like I might forget about it, but that's why I'm asking about the checklist, and I'm glad to see that it's built in there. Yeah, yeah. But I think if they're required to watch and then they put it in, it means you watch the video before you put information, so you don't come to me and say I didn't know about that, because that is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Curriculog is very good at a lot of things for us. It's better than the old days when we did things by paper and did things by Dropbox.
Those things, yes.
A lot better than that. But what I don't think Curriculog does very well with, to be honest, it's not a great platform for editing.
Yes, yes.
So I always tell people, when you begin to do any kind of proposal in Curriculog, keep it in a Word document. That's what you need to be working with your colleagues at the school level in. Get a Word document or a Google Doc. Work out all your details there. Get all your edits done there, and then cut and paste from that into Curriculog. Because once it's in Curriculog and it's moving through, it's clunky about how you can go back and make edits. I mean, you can do things, but it's just not as, I mean, just make sure it's as clean as possible to start with.
You might want to say that on that training too, because they might not like because that's how I do it. I put it in side by side and then put the information in, and so I send back and forth to work, but not everyone do that.
Yeah.
And they're like, how could I do this? I now launch it. I'm like, well, in that case, it's sad because you can't go in once you launch it. Yeah.
Yeah, and really the easiest thing after it's launched, if it's wrong, is to just reject it and start over.
Okay.
Because to send it back and then edit it, that's the one thing that I complain the most with Curriculog about.
Yeah. So we should do that part. Okay, that's now sound good to me. Yeah.
So the way I like to view Curriculog is it's a way to move the work once it's done. It's not a way to actually do the work.
Okay.
So, you know, yeah, at your committee meetings, this should be done or at your school committee meetings anyway, it should be done in like a Word doc.
Okay, yeah, because not sure. Yeah, I think, yeah, when they send it through, maybe send through like they launch the Curriculog and then let us know in the Word document. It's easier to review anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got 10 people on your committee reviewing a Word doc, you know, everybody can go in and make edits and do what they want to do. And then when it's all clean, you can remove the track changes and cut and paste over, and you're in pretty good shape. But doing that in Curriculog, you know, it's just the way it's set up. It's just, you know, it's good at some things, but not good at others.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Will walked out on us.
Yes, Will. I don't know where Eric is, but yeah, he might
Well, I knew,
outside or somewhere.
yeah, I knew Eric might not be able to make it, and so that's why I wanted to record this, and I knew that Melissa wouldn't, so I will share this with you all again.
Yes, and then please send us the PDF, the PowerPoint. Yeah.
PowerPoint slides.
Yeah.
I will do that. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.